Hi, I'm Betty Pearce, and I'm a Barkindji Howler, and my tribe's come off the Darling River, and I'm standing on the Murray River. My grandmother told me this story, and her name is Kate Bugme. I do get a little bit of emotion when I'm talking about my grandmother. I was very close to my grandmother, and the story is about the Nutji. It was her and her two old auntie who was going down the river, and they just got on top of the bank, and she was only a small girl, and she said they could see this big nutji, like it was coiled up on the side of the water in the sun. It was a nice sunny day, and it must have been warm in itself, and when it heard them three coming, she said the nutji just sort of uncoiled and went right back into the river and landed right in the middle of the river, and then it started bubbling like things do when something go in the water. Started bubbling, but the two old aunties were saying, "Run, girl, run, because they'll send water after you and they'll drown us if we don't get away from it." And that's the end of the story. They just run. And it's a great story from my grandmother, I thought. And I kept it close to my heart for so many years, and my kids saying, "Mum, I think about time you need to tell it where your grandkids and our grandkids can hear the story." And I was into mine. I didn't want to tell it, but it's gone now. And I hope when they see it, they'll understand that these stories are passed down to the younger generation. And Aboriginal people do hand these stories down. They don't write them down, they tell them. And it went down to my mum, and she told her children, but I got it first hand from my grandmother, which was great. So I need to tell my children. That's our country right out around Mungo and around the Mullaroola, all them lake system, because my great-grandmother is buried out at Mullaroola. So I don't know where, but my grandmother told me she was buried traditional way, and that's something I'm keep holding on to too, how they buried them traditional. The woman stayed behind and wailed while the man went and done the burial. And I never go near any burials. Even today, if I go to a funeral, I don't even go near the hole, because that's what I was told from my grandmothers. So, and I still hold their word very dear to my heart. She mightn't be with me today, but in my mind and in my heart, my gran will always be with me. She's in my heart, and their spirits are still with me. And I love my grandmother. She lived around the Puncaria area, Menindee area, the Wilcannia area. She worked out around Tarcoola, and she got married in Puncaria in 1910. She was married in Puncaria. After she got married, she travelled around a lot because her husband was a good horse trainer, and he was a small little person, and he was a jockey too, so ride a lot of horses for the station owners after he used to train them. And but she had it hard, my poor old grandmother, you know. She didn't know the electricity. She lived in these little huts, and I always imagine now, I live now with, you know, I've got washing machines. She never knew a washing machine. She never had any electricity. She used to make fat lamps, you know, out of the fat, and then the whole tin hut where she'd be blocking it up when it started leaking, because she never had new tins. You know, they just picked up sheets of iron from anywhere and built a house. And she was one marvellous old lady. Yeah, I had a lot of special time with my grandmother. As I used to go up from Ivanhoe, my dad used to work on the railway at Ivanhoe, and I used to travel up on the mail to my grandmother's because she used to live in Wilcannia. And I never used to sleep by myself. I used to sleep with my gran all the time, and that's where I got a lot of the stories from my gran. And and a lot of things, that she told me while we used to lay down. I think she used to talk me to sleep mostly, and she just was a wonderful lady. And